What I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with some basics on knives, how to keep them sharp, which knives to use for different ideas. You know, that way you can keep most of your fingers. Vegetables and that, I want to use a French knife, cook's knife. It's going to work out really good for you because what you want a long blade to work with. You know, a lot of people see a big knife, they think, ooh, I can't handle a big knife. I'll take all kinds of stuff off of what I'm not supposed to. When you're cutting, all you want to do is you want to put your knuckle right up against the knife and move right straight down. This way it's riding on the knuckle. You've got lots of room to work with that knife. You have to bring that knife way up here in order to get your finger. And anything that you cut, the knife won't come up over this area. You know, just bring it right down your knuckle. When I'm cutting steaks or roasts or anything like that, I'll use a 10-inch butcher knife. For just about everything. I do this for my steaks. I do it for carving roasts, turkeys. Just about, it's an all-around knife. Now these two, the only time I use them is when I'm boning a deer or working with fresh meat. This is a straight, stiff knife here. It has no bend to it hardly at all. I use that one for boning, like I said earlier. This one I use for around the bones in that. It's a curved knife. You can work with it a lot easier, and it does bend. It's a semi-stiff. That way you do have room to get into the bone. Pardon? These are boning knives, 6-inch boning knives. All the knives that I carry with me are made by a company out of Switzerland called Forstner. They're the top knife that I have found yet as far as taking an edge and holding an edge. Okay, and I'll show you the steel here. What it is magnetized here. The reason for it is when you're stealing a knife, you're going to have a little bit of chips coming off the knife. They don't want it falling onto your table into meat when you're on, you know. This is the same one we use professionally. There are small, tiny grooves running down the steel here. And what that'll do is you're bringing the knife across, that will peel off those edges. And what happens to a knife when it gets dull is it'll be straight down, just like this here. As it gets duller, it'll turn. The very tip of it will turn. You can't really see it with your eyes, but it will turn. That's why it gets dull, feels like it's dragging. This is mainly to bring that edge back. From stealing it, it'll straighten that arrow out. It'll straighten that knife right back out again. What you want is a 20-degree angle on either a knife or a stone. It goes the same way with everything, 20-degree angle on any knife that you have, just a small 20 degrees. Both sides. I see some people, you know, for safety reasons, this has got a nice guard on it so you can't get your fingers. Some people will draw it backwards. If you find that it's too big for you to handle, set it on your table. 20 degrees again. That way it won't move on you. With a stone, a little bit of water. Set it on your table again. All your fingers under, your thumb on top. This way if you bring the knife, it's against it. You can't cut yourself.
Do that again. Do that again.
Make sure you're pressing on that. Make sure you've got your 20-degree angle. It's going to roll right under your thumb.
20 degrees as opposed to having it flat. Your blade flat on the stone.
Your blade flat completely, you're going to be there forever with no edge because you're using the whole knife. You're bringing the whole thing across that stone, and it's not giving it any angle to work. That 20 degrees is what's going to bring that back up again. And every demo that I've done, I've shown to keep the knife sharp because I've said this Friday night, 70 to 80% of the cuts that happen at home are from a dull knife. Try to keep them as sharp as you can because you're prying, you're pushing, you're squirming, you're turning, and the knife will jump. Just that easy. These guys I keep them just like razors, all of them. They'll just right what I'm What I'm going to start off with on the cooking is I'm going to start out with the sausage because we do have to boil it and then fry it. So we'll start with that one. What I have here is some regular iodized salt, pure black pepper. I have a little bit of coarser pepper in there too. Nutmeg or allspice, and garlic pepper or garlic powder. I'm sorry. I'm used to doing this for 25 pounds at a time, so I've got to cut it down. See what I can do here. Most of the ingredients is going to be salt, probably 2 to 3 tablespoons for this 5 pounds that I have here. About like so. Then your pepper. Again, you'll go about a tablespoon, which is about what I've got left in here. Just like that. And garlic powder, which has been around for a while. This is the main ingredient of it. You know, this is what's going to give you most of your flavor. There's probably a tablespoon of that in there too. The nutmeg, the reason for that is it's going to neutralize the garlic a little bit. It's not going to knock you on your fanny when you go to take a bite out of it. It's going to have pretty good flavor to it. There's about a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half there. Mix these guys all together. Bust that garlic up for you. No, I did not put that in there.
Oh, what did you call this again? Sausage?
This is the Polish sausage that we're doing. Right now I'm using 5 pounds. Like I say, when I normally make this up, I go on about a 25 pounds when I make it. What you want to do is just pull the meat up a little bit. Just fold it in a little bit when you're first starting. Yes, this has already been ground. Now the reason why it appears so red is I like to mix a little bit of beef suet or regular beef into it. It's going to give you a better flavor. A lot of people like to mix pork in it. I don't like it because you have friends that come over for dinner on a certain night. You decide you want to have venison burgers, and the person says, "Oh, I have to have my burger medium rare, or I just can't eat it. You know, I can't eat it well done." With pork, you can't do it because of the way it is. You just can't. Salt, garlic powder, nutmeg. Yep. No, there's about 8% beef. In here, roughly, there was 2 tablespoons of salt, a tablespoon of pepper, and a tablespoon of garlic, to a tablespoon to a table and a half.
Garlic powder.
Garlic powder. Nutmeg, teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half. Now what I have here, what I'm going to stuff it in today, I've got a natural hog casing. I like the natural hog casing because it's just plain natural. A lot of places are going to the paper. I don't like paper. I don't like it at all. I know Bob Evans is a good one for going to paper. Move down here my stuffer.
The casing market yet?
No, the casing is available in most grocery stores. In the freezer section you can find it. It's usually in about a pound container, and it's marked right on it in black letters. It says hog casings. They're packed in salt. You know, these are pre-washed casings. The other ones you have to soak them, rinse them out real good because they are packed quite heavily in salt. Now when you're packing a stuffer, you want to make sure you get every little bit of air out of it that you can. If you don't get all the air out of it, you'll get about halfway through it and you'll hit an air pocket. Poof, the sausages will go across the room. About the hardest part you're going to find about stuffing sausage is finding the end of the casing and how to get it open and get it on the tube.
Did you wet your tube?
You don't have to because the casing is pretty well wet.
Nothing on the tube.
No, there's nothing on the tube. You could put a little bit of oil on it if you want to.
Okay, what causes the suction
The suction for what?
on the casing on the tube? Which happens?
The water that's on the casing should create the slickness to get it over it. If you find that it's getting hard, pump a little bit of meat out of it into the casing, just a little bit. This will create more grease, more lubrication. Then just pull it right on. If you notice, there's a little bit of air on the backup. This will also create some air pockets in the sausage. Just take a knife, smack it a couple times, smack the air holes out of it. The more air you can keep out of it, the better. A little stiff too. Now in the meat business, we can't put any water in the sausage at all. Any sausage that we make, we're not supposed to put any water in it whatsoever. I'm working down at DiMaggio's, Marine City, which is a large Spartan store. There's two stores. There's one in Marine City, one in New Baltimore. Where did I get this machine? I bought it at a garage sale.
I thought that was an antique.
Pardon? I don't know where you could rent one. I got lucky. You know, I just wanted to show a lot of you how it was done. That's all we lost out of it. You will lose a little bit, which you can just, put into a patty. Now it depends on you how big of a link you want. You know, this is where you're going to link it up. This is your own ideas. You can go anywhere from this long to putting the whole thing in there. A lot of people will spin it. You probably see Italian sausage encounters a lot like that. I know the Blue Water Festival does that a lot. You'll see it in some of the small places there. All you got to do is pinch both sides, spin it. That's all you got to do. And of course it breaks every once and again. Then you go back again, give it a spin or two. It's spinning where it's not supposed to. The more uniform you can get it, the better off you're going to be. back and cut him off. All I've got here is just a regular pot of water boiling with a little bit of salt in it. Just drop them in there. I'll be in there for about 15 to 20 minutes. Spanish sweet onion, and a little bit of celery, garlic, pure butter, and the oil for the pan. This is where the big guy comes out. Just cut the top off, just like you would anything else. You want these to be in pretty big pieces, so you'll just quarter it. And cut these in about 4 or 5 pieces. No milk, no nothing, just straight into the flour.
Is that venison round steak or?
This should be venison round steak, yes. I've cut it into small pieces. Just roll him around in the flour.
You got about 2 pounds there?
1.5 to 2 pounds. Yeah. A lot of people say, where's the gravy going to come from? The gravy's going to come right from this, right from the flour on the meat.
Without the flour and the gravy, you have to strain it.
Just go to it until the onions get good and transparent. You know, actually what you're trying to do is just saute them a little bit. Now you go from that, go back to a little bit more oil. A little more butter. I'm running it high right now. After I get everything browned and everything, I'll turn the heat down, let it simmer for a little while. Is there any questions that I've missed so far?
When do you apply your cell
I mixed up. It should have went in there a while ago. What I'll do is I'll just throw it in with the meat. It should have went in with my vegetables. Should have sauteed them with my vegetables. Right. So we'll throw them in. What's in the cup is about a cup of water. Oh, it was in the cup. There was celery in that. I mixed up and forgot to throw it in with the other. Right. But oil and butter are mixed in, so it won't burn. But yet it'll still brown. Basically what I'm after here is I just want to sear the outside of it. So keep the flavor in. I do the same thing with a pot roast or anything that I'm cooking. I'll put a pan like this on top of the stove and throw it around in that for a while. Get her nice and brown on the outside. Them play in there for a while. Get my mess cleaned up. You can tell I was well organized. I still have the cayenne pepper sitting here. And this guy's about ready to come on. These are very hot. Okay, on the pepper steak, down comes the heat to about halfway, between 5 and 6 on the stove there. A cup and a half of water. Throw your vegetables right back on top of them. This is a good idea once you put her down to simmer to cover it. But I don't have anything to cover this with right now. So we'll do one of these numbers. But I'm going to have to steal that back from it a little bit here. Smells good. Be fantastic. The other one that we're going to do for you is a barbecue. What we've done is we've taken roughly 1.5 pound to 2 pound roast and put it in a pressure cooker for 20 minutes.
That was about 6 pounds and went in for almost an hour.
6 pounds, and this went in for almost an hour. 10 pounds? Okay. Gets her good and tender. Will fall right apart, as you can see there. This is where it gets fun, because you get to throw all kinds of neat things together. And you give me a new bottle of ketchup for this. About a cup and a half of ketchup. About a half a cup of Catalina dressing. Three tablespoons of A1 sauce. A couple in the Worcestershire. A couple teaspoons. About a tablespoon of mustard. Tablespoon of brown sugar. Finely chopped onions, about a half a cup to a cup. Pour your meat in. Now there's a lot of meat here, so I'm going to have to probably dump some more sauce into it, because there is quite a bit here. You can cook it in a slow cooker, or you can put it in a, the pressure cooker or anything like that, or you can just put it in the oven. It is a little dry, so I'm going to add some more ketchup to it. Like I say, there is quite a bit of meat here, unless you were feeding an army. We'll put this guy back on the stove, let him cook up. Try to keep it nice and firm. That way it won't go all over the place. Whoops. That's always entertaining, isn't it? No more tossing. We're going to stir this time. It is warm up here. Now you may notice that it is a little thin down there on the sauce, but it is still. So once we'll let this cook a little bit more, we'll put a little bit of cornstarch in it, stiffen it up a little bit. This will simmer for about 20 minutes, half hour. Once you get everything brown, it's just about there. These were cut pretty thin to slow it down. The thicker the meat, the more you let it simmer. The longer you let it simmer, too, the tenderer the venison's going to be. You can see the sauce starting to thick up a little bit. You can't cook the whole deer. I'll put it in the freezer. I'll wrap it real tight in some freezer paper that I do have. And you can keep it in the freezer for 6 months to a year. Now, according to the DNR, you're not supposed to have any venison in your freezer after 6 months. But nobody's going to come back in and check you too often. I don't think you'd have any problem with that at all. But it does say, it state in there that you can't have it in possession after so long. A lot of people don't know that. No. Once you get it in the freezer, it'll keep just like beef. Again, this basically on top of the stove with the sausage is just to brown it a little bit. But we did prepare, I forgot to mention this, we did prepare a stew also that is on there. We substituted the potatoes. We took those out and we put noodles in it. We put noodles in it instead, so you could pick up the flavor of the venison and that much better.